Alright. That's okay. Sorry, doing some last minute things set up. That's alright, that's alright. Okay. Hey guys, PJ here. And as promised, I was gonna do a commentary on the final match here of Cyber Goat Showdown 3 with Alethea versus Lollo. Didn't get a chance to stream this yesterday live when they were available. I just kind of let them play the final match as to avoid just rampant scheduling complications, as you guys know how it is. One person's available one day and another person's available another day, so I wanted to do it live, but I'll settle for this for now. I think it'd be really interesting to see the match. I haven't watched this game. I haven't watched the game yet, even though it concluded yesterday. I just kind of waited to do more of a live reaction based on the fact that I can kind of try and get into the. I do my best to emulate it as if it were a live match, but just going step by step. Obviously, it has concluded, and yes, Alethea did win the event. He pushed through the double elimination disadvantage and won twice, and yes, it was a Jerry Beansman deck. Well, I just say it's a Jerry Beansman deck. It's really Emissary Aggro or Emissary Beat, whatever you call it. This is the list here. You can see that it's more actually of a kind of Drain Beat deck or Drain Aggro, because Skill Drain is one of the feature cards of the strategy, given the fact that Luffy is also running the Facilier Dragons. I'd give him, obviously, bring him out 2800 beat stick. You have the emissaries who fly under the skill drains. Then Jerry doesn't really care about skill drain, and neither really the Cyber Dragons, so really kind of boils down more to a drain beat deck, and Exile just flies under the effect as well. And then you have the triple Solemn as part of the kind of warrior package. If you've seen Alethea in a lot of these, at least these GX era events, even some of the 5Ds, I've seen him play Edison a few decks. You've noticed Alethea builds a lot of stun decks. We've seen him pilot the anti-meta. We've seen him pilot a lot of anti-meta stun cards like Defu and Macro. You saw it recently in his Demise format list with the what's it called? You have the warrior, the Macro Warrior, just getting cards out of the graveyard. Running cards like the Survivor. Sorry, it's very early morning for me. I'm doing my best to stay coherent. But yeah, it kind of plays like a warrior deck. It's really basic beat, but it's designed very well. So it's not just, well, Jerry's Beansman deck randomly won the event. It's proven that it's more than just like a meme deck. There's a lot of strategic incentive behind it. Very simple. I would love to hear Alethea's review, Alethea's notes about the deck and how he felt about going in. One note I do have, just based on what I saw on my Discord, is that he also kind of expected to see more of the goat control going in, as opposed to a lot of the chaos, variety of decks that we had throughout this event. All the other staples are really kind of what you expect out of the staples of Zera. You got the Trinity. It's only the one knock because, yeah, I mean, 2 may be ideal for like a aggro deck like this, but you're already kind of shutting down the flip effect monster as a result of Drain or whatever else you got with the Exile. And yeah, I want to showcase his opponent, who actually came from the winner's bracket, the other deck, Lollo here. We got his Chaos Machine build. This is a style of, I mean, Lolo's changed around a few cards since then, but this style of deck is you're playing as a machine aggro, but you got the Chaos Engine. Cards like the Deco work as both generating resources, being limiter removal targets, running the Magician of Fates just to help loop cards like Pot Graceful. Oh my god, it's really early. Not doing well this early morning. But yeah, rather than just be a pure machine, he's opted to run cards like the Chaos Sorcerer, the BLS. So it's also pretty well designed. We have like Reflect Bounder as like a machine and a light type. Reflect Bounder, it's been like, people often say it's kind of a bad card just because, well, like a Serpent can attack into it and then just self-destructs and it does a little burn damage, but it does help when you have something that can become a 3400 beat stick with the limiter removal, and then it being a light type. Light type also helps, given that, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he's got like 6 light monsters to work with. 7 if for whatever reason BLS is in the graveyard, needs some Chaos Sorcerer. And then all the dark monsters are there as well. He's got meta, being able to convert some of these, like the Facility Dragon and the Chaos Stork, whatever, into whatever fusions you want, or just grab 1,000 Eyes off the Serpent. It's not running the Scapegoats, doesn't need to. Or of course the Sidras, well, Sidras obviously, yeah. Sidras as well. So, Lolo's actually taken a few top cut spots with this particular deck and strategy, so I think it's proven got some serious legs. Having a lot of punching power, kind of out of the blue, because you can stack the limiter removal. This is where limiter removal gets really stupid, because you can double the attack multiple times. So say a Cyber Dragon attacks directly and the opponent doesn't have like Karibo or whatever, you can just play a limiter removal and then stack another limiter removal, and that's just like a random kill shot. It doesn't really happen that often, but it can come up. Not too much to say in terms of this like matchup. Lolo doesn't actually get hurt too bad by this matchup into Alefia's deck, because he's also running the skill drains. He's also running the Faciliers, which are gonna ultimately, unironically, benefit Lolo. And most of the other monsters, like, if he does fly under skill drain, it's not the end of the world. You see, the triple Sidra, and even if Chaos Stork isn't able to banish a monster, you still have a 2300 attack monster you can bring out that can hit over Alefia's stuff. But obviously I know the final outcome was Alefia winning. Well, we're just going to see what the thought is going into this. Going back to Alefia's side deck, I'm curious to see how in this matchup... Oh my god, wait. Oops, I'm on and off clicking the wrong thing, no BS. I'm curious as how Alefia will side into this match versus Lolo, given that he might want to drop... I don't know whether he drops the Facility Dragons or the skill drains, based on the fact that Lolo can actually benefit off the drain. And also whether he might bring King Tigers if he sees Lolo's on multiple copies of Stein. And he's got the other weaker monsters like Reaper that come out. But I'm kind of contradicting myself, because Reaper would usually set in that position. He's kind of sided as if they're like a warrior deck. Got the spies that come in as a wall, and given if Lolo's looking at a deck, is looking at all these lineup of monsters, Lolo may be siding out his Nobuna crossouts, which Alefia might know about. So Alefia may bring the spy as an extra defense, and even if it does get drained, it's still a 2000 defense monster to have in hand. So like, what I've noticed is that even though people have commented on the fact that, well, Spy is much worse in this format because Sidra can clear it, and people are still running the one or more copies of Nobuna Crossout. The ability to get a monster out of the deck is still really good. Even if you lose one Spy, like as a result of battle, you still have the other one to pop out of the deck to the player's benefit. So there is still some incentive to run Spy, even if it is obviously not as good as it is a Goat format. Anyway, I don't want to comment too much. I don't know too much more about what to comment on in terms of like how each player is thinking about approaching this matchup. I can assume that the fact that Lefty is probably rethinking a lot of things just because this Lolo did actually knock him into the lower bracket in the winners finals, not the grand finals like we're about to watch, but the winners finals, like those the match that would lead into the taking the first finalist spot in the winners side. Yeah, so I'm curious how these decks play out. Let's, without further ado, let's kind of get right into it. I'm gonna have to kill the music. It's gonna be a huge distraction for me. Gonna wait my coffee. So I'm gonna start the replay over again. I'm just gonna adjust a few things because I do not pay dueling book. What the hell is that? No, it's deciding to move something else. Just give me a moment. No, that's. Oh boy. Amateur over here. Just give me a sec. Okay. I'm trying to. I just want to adjust this a bit. It's also gonna drive me nuts. I don't really need to see that. Okay. Well, let's get into. I'm gonna restart the replay because unfortunately this dueling book replay system. So Lefty wins the RPs. And I'm just gonna block it so the ads pop-ups that come. Oh, load. Lefty's gonna obviously, I don't know why. Variances we actually are incentivized to go second. I'm gonna hide the hands just to make this a little bit more interesting. So go in. Charity gets fired. That's obviously a really good start. Their way to Saku and Xarian. Pretty interesting. I guess he's not anticipating Lolo's going to go in right away for an attack. Given Lolo probably doesn't want to hit into, doesn't just want to waste an attack into the Emissary. And yeah, Xarian just not going to come up right away. Fusillier coming down. I wonder if he's going to set. Oh, okay, wow, he's going to 1-4 right away. So, not fearing the heavy storm apparently. We can assume that Lefty just may not simply care about it. Sidra gets dropped on Lolo's side. Gonna just try and clear this out. Lefty might pull up the skill drain if he has it. But a Lolo may have primed an MST primed in him to possibly counter that. Yeah, here comes the drain. And there we go. I thought as much because. All right, okay. And then the Saku. So Lefty did have a backup plan in that case. So, I mean, what else could happen is Lolo could have just tried to grab the facility right off the bat, and maybe could have done something to prompt the skill drain earlier. I don't know. Either way, Lefty kept himself safe. He discarded it, even though he kind of baited that, considering the fact that he threw away Sakuretsu armor. So that was kind of very deceptive on Lefty's part. Lolo's also going to play all his back row. It's going to keep him safe from any incoming delinquent duo. 3-set pass, Lefty comes in. Crossout comes out. That's going to hit all of Lolo's Dikoichis. Could have been really bad for Lolo, except for it thins his deck out. Fusillier. Well, if he's going to get hit in, set another card. So we got this kind of back row contest going on here. Lolo having a little bit of connection issues. That's pretty common with DB. You can never expect someone to just stay perfectly connected all the time. Well, if he can really just keep pummeling in on his life points, Fusillier I think is totally safe. It gets destroyed. It's not too big of a deal. Lefty getting a lot of damage on Lolo. It's going to make Lolo Steins. It's probably going to nullify Lolo's Cyberstein if he ever gets into it. Lollo gets a charity, so that's gonna be really helpful. Goes Serpents. Yeah, throws away to Stein. Stein's, there's no way Lollo's gonna safely pay 5,000 life points and try to turn this around. Storm does come out. Leffia might be looking. I'll see if Leffia, how Leffia comes out. This Lollo is taking a big minus to clear Leffia's back row. So Leffia's thinking about whether he wants to let this go through or not. Yeah, that's a little bit of wild heavy stone. Those dust shoots were completely dead, but losing the mirror forcing really hurts a lot because Lolo's just getting his life points pummeled right now, and he maybe could have blocked one of these facility hits with mirror force to try and enable a Stein play, but Leffia obviously had something ready for it with the solemn judgment, so it was going to be fine either way. Oh, Lollo does come out with the Sidra, so it did work out to Lolo's favor overall, but and that's probably why Facility wasn't clear, just so Lollo could. You probably just don't. I guess my thought on that is that you don't always just want to like. It's hard to say because this is where it gets kind of interesting because Lollo obviously doesn't want to play Stein into that full back row. And I wonder if he had a Cyber Dragon that was just a top deck or just was preparing for that, considering to run 3 and already had one in the graveyard, so things worked out for Lollo for that play. But the Snatch does come out. Lolo's going to take a little more damage, so Lolo's really on the back foot here. It's going to get Serp back, so we'll be able to block a few hits, but I don't know how long it's going to last. Given Leffia is running Exarian Universe, and he could pull out the second one instantaneously and go in. Okay, we know it's Serp and Unknown back row. Here comes a Tribe, so if this goes through, there's no Mirror Force, so I think Leffia is just going to get another hit, and with Cyber Dragon, it's going to pull Lollo to 2,000. Lollo's going to go down. But he's going to gain some returns with Snatch Steel. So at least we'll make any possible, like, I don't know if he's on the, is Lollo on the brain control? I'm totally forgetting. He has one brain con, so this is going to make a brain con play hurt a lot less, or if he brings out a ring, but we can't even talk about ring at this point because Leffia has 3,300 life points ahead. Lollo's checking a ruling. It's going to grab Sidra. Curious about the ruling. I don't know how this works. That was actually a very interesting interaction. To you and in phase and then back to me. Because I think whatever gets brain con goes back to the other side of the field regardless. I don't think flipping face down is gonna like let Lollo keep it. Wow, so that's okay. So never mind, I was wrong. This is a really interesting interaction. So apparently, I should look more into this, but he just gets to keep Sidra. That's a really weird interaction. I've never actually really seen that before. Flipping it down with book and then apparently just steals it right back. So I know Lollo wasn't 100% sure about the play, but that was a really interesting way to get back his Cyber Dragon. So he has actually managed to, with a crazy play, to turn it back around, even if he has got like much less life points. And we see Leffia kind of has. Actually, we don't really know what this back row is. Sorry, I'm keeping the hands hidden just to kind of make this interesting, and they can kind of anticipate for myself what the players are going to do and how they're going to engage with the board. Leffia does put out the Exarian. It's So that's gonna do at least if Serbian has 250 defense, 14. That's gonna chip Lolo to 1150, but he's actually just gonna get rid of the Sidra and not worry about the chip damage. He needs to get rid of the big beater. So someone like me would have probably been incentivized to just hit the Serpent, but sometimes I know for myself I get tunnel visions on certain game interactions. Just because it's pretty natural to say, like, oh, if there's a monster for Exarian Universe to pierce, then let's do it. But get rid of the Sidra is obviously the play to go, and given the fact that Exarian's effect is optional. Lolo's gonna set another monster. It's possibly could be a Magician of Faith, given the fact we haven't seen it yet, and we know the decos are out of the deck. And obviously the other one is Serpent. Here comes Jerry. I'm gonna take that 1150, and Jerry's gonna come in. Oh, it's the set Facilier, which is not doing much. Depending on Lolo's top deck, Lolo's maybe just be dead here. I think. Here comes. Oh no, it comes the Breaker. Now he's gonna attack. Oh, so it was Mirror Force. I guess it's actually showing me in the side panel here, if you can see. So it does spoil it for me. So I'm gonna try to keep this a little more hidden just so it doesn't spoil me. But yeah, that's the end of the game for Lolo. He almost made a comeback, but I think Alefia's deck has some pretty good top decks. It can do really well in these often low resource situations, which is very important for this format because people are going to blow all their power cards. The duos are going to come back and forth and rip people's hands out, or even just the dust shoots are going to strip things down. There's a lot of big plays that can just happen within a few turns, and players are left to these 1 to 2 card scenarios. So top decks and live cards are pretty important for this format, given you may need something to quickly clear your opponent's monster or something to defend your life points, amongst other interactions. Okay, Lolo's gonna start off going to the game 2 of this first match. There is 2 matches to watch because Alefia was coming from the loser's side, so he had to win twice. He had to pretty much beat Lolo twice to secure the win. Lolo going to T-pose. One that might be a dust shoot, given that Lolo's running 3 of them. That's a negative on the dust shoot, or unless Lolo's holding it for something else. Levy's coming in the splash combo, Cyber and Jerry. Jerry's gonna come in, it's the Reaper. That keeps Lolo from not getting touched in this first turn. Deck splashing in Reaper is pretty good. Reaper is a pretty nice card to have in a format where you may just need a top deck to not be destroyed by battle. And also the hand rep function is quite nice as well. Obviously this card gets a lot better when we get into, well, it's signature format Reaper, but it still does a lot of work here, given how much of the game shifts the battle phase side of things. Snatch Income is going to go after the Cyber Dragon. Now Lolo's going to try and get two back row. I don't know if I don't know how much this is gonna. Yeah, I don't know how this play is gonna go. If Luffy does lose Jerry Beans Man, he might have a skill drain up to null Reaper's effect. Yeah, here comes a drain. He's gonna lose Jerry, but Reaper is just not gonna rip a card, and now it's just gonna get. Now you have a 300 attack monster. That's just gonna get beat down. So one issue Alefia might face is that Lolo's also on the Facilier Dragon as well, giving Lolo an unintentional benefit having a summonable 2800 beater to get in. MST he's not clearing the snatch, interesting enough. He's maybe looking to have Facilier. The rain's gonna come. He's gonna take out Reaper. Lefty has his own Cyber Dragon, and there's a Facilier. Lolo's gonna take a huge chunk of damage. So whether or not Lefty really, whether or not Lolo would attack in or not, Lefty is still gonna play the skill drain and make Reaper essentially lose out on its effect. Lolo out of Stein range, so this may be this is probably a deck where Lolo's gonna side out the Cyber Stein. In fact, I don't know how much of his going back to his list, I don't know how much he can side in versus drain itself. He might opt to run Jinzo just so that Lefty doesn't, just so Lefty can lose some of the benefits. Just having Jinzo out just so Lefty can't really use skill drain, and allows his MOFs and Dekoichis to their flow effects to come online. I wonder if Lolo also, I wonder if Lolo would still I don't even really know. I guess the decree would come in. I guess Lolo would bring in the decrees as something to consider for going against Lefty's deck, but fortunately I don't see a lot of like spell trap hate in Lolo's side deck, so that could be to Lolo's detriment going to this final match, because not just the skill drain, like getting rid of a lot of the back row so you can enable a lot of your own aggressive plays, given Lefty is still on the Solemns and a lot of the battle traps like Saku's, like the Sakuretsu's, and even running bottomless to hit the Cyber Dragon unpromptly. We have Cyber Dragon, alternate artwork versus the original. I prefer the original personally. It's just me. Gonna come at the normal summon the Koichi. I wonder what the plan is on that. So he's attacking it, so Lolo must have a limiter removal going in, so Lefty's gonna think about this. He can't, yeah, the Saku's gonna clear that out. Lefty kind of smelled out the limiter there. Kind of awkward now to leave the decos out, but which unfortunately are not getting much value given that skill drain is just sitting live. So we can see kind of where Lolo's downfall may have come, just not having a lot of the spell trap removal for a deck like this. So I think that's something to consider for going to future Cyber tournaments, dealing with some more back row centric or strategies or cards using, or going against strategies using floodgates. We saw it with the Panda Burn in the Cyber Goat 2, taking a lot of wins simply because players weren't running a lot of answers to the strats. So we'll see going forward how players build their decks. They might have to opt for more getting rid of some of the, having some back row hate in general. Braincon's going to go out. Lefty might just get a, and what kind of damage are we looking at? 28, 29, 49, 59. This will kill, so this kills Lolo if Lolo doesn't have an answer. And yeah, it does. That's going to be the first match. So you can kind of see, once the Lefty has this like skill drain, once the Lefty has the right setup, it just kind of overwhelms the player. So as you see, there's a lot of strategic incentive. It's not just Jerry's Beans. It's not just this is not a meme deck. This is not a meme deck. It's got some legs. Even if Jerry flies, even if there isn't a lot of Jerry in general, I think this just becomes more of like a drain beat. In hindsight. So we're going to this next match here. I'm just going to adjust two things. So decks are reset. Lefty wins the RPs again. The one single back row. Lolo comes out of the charity. Wonder what left he has set, cause you'd think his deck would benefit more just probably multiple back row set, but even if like the heavy storm gets played. We'll see kind of what he has primed. Oh yeah, the ring. Safe play. Don't summon a monster. You don't want to turn on the Sidra and risk taking more damage. Enabling Lolo Sidra. He's gonna clip both players. Lolo's got 2 back row. Dust shoot. There's the finally Lolo gets the dust shoots he can use. Unsure of what he shuffled in. I didn't check the hands. Sakuratu, Book, MST, Storm, Sidra. Okay. So he just may have shuffled one of Lefia's beaters in, like the could have shuffled in an Emissary. So Lefia doesn't really have a monster he can summon. So very curious as to what Lefia's set. If he has Book of Moon, sorry, if he has MST, say he might destroy it. Nope. Maybe holding the MST for something else. Lefia's gonna draw a pass. Lolo's likely setting up one of his. Could be set up a deco here, given by the graveyard. We saw 1 copy of Faith in the grave already. Oh, so he pro sets the heavy. So what's his? I wonder what his set card is. Kills his own Saku. Snipes out a couple of Lolo's power spells. Guess Lolo was wanted to keep him. Guess Lolo wanted to keep them out of the hand for whatever reason. Which may not have fooled Lefia, because we look at Lolo's list again. He's not running a lot of traps, so I don't. Aside from maybe like. But he still's got like, the quick play spell, so. I don't think there's too much incentive for Lolo to really. Lefia's not thinking that like. Why Lolo would be setting too many cards as like battle traps or anything, because. Most of the list is spell cards, but. You may not even think about it. May not even think about it at all in hindsight. Lafia does finally have the play enabled. The kill. We've seen this combo a lot come up from me. I think he used it against me in my game. Oh, the Stein comes in. And Lolo's gonna take a huge chunk of damage. So Lolo not feeling up to the Stein play. Which... Yeah, obviously you don't want to just like shotgun Stein when your opponent has a bunch of setback row, I understand. Given Yuri saw his hand with like Book and Saku and MST, all that. So Book and Saku and all that. So I guess Lolo didn't have... So we just wondered if Lolo really needed to set Stein in the first place, given Lefia has a bunch of Cyber Dragons as well. Could have been baiting out something from Lefia, but we're not sure. Anyway, Cyber's gonna come out. We see it's gonna get booked as soon as Lolo types in, or Lefia just might just die. No. Lefia is gonna want to keep his opponent on the back foot. We'll coming in, set. Does hit the limiter. Okay, so Lefia. So Lolo could have been looking to. But this is a. So not having really good opportunities with limiter here, given Lefia has a lot of defensive cards. God, it is. I'm like half awake. I probably should have waited like an hour before doing this, but you know, it is what it is. Lefia going for the big push. Not worried about taking the risk with the Mirror Force still alive. Book. Fortunately, not the best deck to book. Zarian's gonna clear. Zarian also being a card doesn't really care about skill drain, given the situation, due to its grossly high stat line. Lollo could just be dead again, yeah. Coming into game 3. So because the Lefty has a lot of just live cards in general, and the floodgates, this is where Lolo's deck might struggle because it doesn't get a lot of time to set up its game plan. With a lot of the cards like Deco and Faith and Tsukuyomis, they're obviously trying to build up, bulk up on the cards to enable that OTK style of play. So with Lefty, the way his deck's designed, it doesn't have a lot of dead cards most of the time. So I'm curious as to what Lolo's brought in. Again, he could bring in Decrees to deal with all the trap cards. Dust Shoot comes in. I don't feel like refreshing this to see what was shuffled in. Duo comes out. We don't roll dice for Duo, guys. Yeah, you kind of seen the fault of some of these, like a lot of setup cards like Meta. While they enable a lot of big plays, like they sometimes have situations where it's completely useless. So people might be looking in the future to try and create more live hands if possible. But then again, this is a very weird tournament where there's a whole variety of decks being played, so it's too early to make any realistic calls about how the meta is actually structured. It's pretty it's kind of a free for all at this point, in my opinion, with the what's actually tier 1, what's actually tier 2, and maybe some decks are underperforming, some decks are overperforming, and given there has been a lot of players just in general, like this is the most we had so far, at least in my series. I know the YGO from 0 had 30 players and this is 20, so it's a really small sample size, so I'm curious to how players will engineer their decks going into the future events. Engineer their decks going into future events there. Charity. Well, I was getting to a lot of spells, unfortunately, not really having the monsters to go into plays. Yeah, set a monster. Breaker's coming out. Well, keeping his back row safe, which tells the left field that Lolo wants to get a card safe for something else, but he's gonna make an unprompted attack into the decoy. He's gonna give Lolo a draw. Sider's gonna slap down. Get rid of this breaker. Set another. Lefty's gonna go into defense. That's totally fine. Lolo getting to the second part of the Trinity. Lefty gonna use Emissary's effect. Now technically both players are supposed to shuffle, but given it's already random, it's not the end of the world. Let me see. Both Jerrys are falling down. They do mitigate, they do soften the delinquent duo blows a little bit, which is kind of nice. Because it's like, if you lose Jerry, it's like fine, you can still have fun without. He's gonna tribute his other emissary for the side draw. Gonna pull the third Jerry out of the deck. Mirror's gonna come in. Call back. Try again. And that's gonna do it. Lefty really wanted to get Lolo's monsters up the field. Makes sense. Lolo is gonna go for a Stein, and I think this is gonna be obviously it's gonna be uninterrupted if Lolo opts to go for it. 400. Either way, if Lolo has a limiter removal, this game's over. But no, it's just gonna push Levy at 700. Very risky play by Lolo. Given if this Jerry goes through, Lollo just loses. But obviously Lollo has to have a card in preparation for it. Book comes down. It's gonna be over for Alethea unless his last back row keeps him good. Nope, the clutch Sakuretsu armor. But the Stein is kind of left in attack position. Smash can clear. Well, not having a monster to just get into that last bit of damage, so it's a little bit of war of attrition going on. Storm. Also, not really having a safe ring. And that's going to kill Alethea here. And it actually pushes now to a final set. So this wasn't a complete blowout on Alethea's side. Coming into this final game, Alethea going to go in first. Go right into the pot of greed. Oh, my screen blacked out. Screen keeps blacking out. Oh, technology. Alethea getting into the Trinity here. This could be a Saki game 3 if he has the... Oh yeah, no charity. Still, getting at least 2 of the 3 of them, it does feel like... It feels like an incredibly broken start, because now Lolo's 4 cards to Alethea's 6. Here comes the Bounder. Bottomless. Okay. So this is really bad for Lollo, because Alethea can just start getting on his life points. And even if Lollo has something like a Mirror Force, like he's just kind of forced to act in. Alethea bringing in the Mobius. Sees Lollo setting a bunch of cards, so you can even bring in Mobius not necessarily just against like a back row deck, but if he knows a player's just gonna be setting a lot of cards, whether it's to avoid Dust Shoot or to keep cards away out of a Delinquent Duel. It's gonna hit the some of the pro set spell trap cards here. Well, pro set heavy, MST is just to respond to whatever. So you can maybe it was a kind of an error on Lowell's part to just throw down both of these cards or the pro set heavy, but given that Alethea just played duo, but dang, I may not have anticipated Alethea just bringing in Mobius, especially in a deck with running skill drain. Either way, it's gonna put Lollo really on this back foot here, but the Brain Con's gonna come out. Alethea could have countered with Book of Moon, but he may be looking to deal with another play. Here comes a Jinzo. Now is Alethea gonna let himself? Alethea's just gonna let himself get hit. That could have been, which could have been much worse if Lollo had a limiter, but that's not really a play. I have to correct myself a lot of times because a lot of ideas fly into my head, and then I have to like really correct my. I have to correct course a bit and say, no, that's not a thing. We're learning here. So Hydra gonna come out. Does he have a Snatch in hand? Normal. Smash. That's not a kill shot. Wait, what? Oh. If it was a Brain Con, it would have been over, but or a Snatch. Yeah, we see, and yeah, no, that's unfortunately during BLS at the wrong time. How does Bounder get banished again? That Bottomless. So wow, that Bottomless actually did so much more than I'd anticipated. Bottomless being a pretty decent trap in this format. Getting the light and dark monsters out of the graveyard so you can disable the BLS drop. Brought into Walks, interestingly enough, which kind of a weird side inclusion, but unheard of, because you can obviously convert a juiced up machine monster into a life point gain, but against Alethea's deck, I'm not sure because it is this is not really a deck you want to go neg against because they do extremely well when going 50-50. Anyway, Alethea securing the finals win. We see the Jerry Beansman deck. I'd hate to just harp on the same point. It's not just a meme. There was a lot of creative design going into it. I'll talk more about it when I actually do the coverage, which I might just do now, given that the match was a little bit easier to cover than I expected. The game seemed to be incredibly favor of Alethea. I thought he might have been on a disadvantage, given that some of the things like Drain do benefit Lollo, and the fact that Lollo did beat Alethea in this in the winners finals going in. So Alethea may have just rethought his approach going into Lollo's deck, and given the fact that Lollo's list, it's not that the lists were leaked or anything. It's that Lollo used a list from a previous event, so Alethea could have easily just pulled it out from the Discord or from format library and kind of thought about his approach going in. Either ways, congrats to Alethea. I'll talk to both players about their about the prize, the $40 US prize pool, and I'll kind of get onto the coverage side of things. I would love to hear the Alethea's thoughts on the deck and Lollo's thoughts on the deck eventually. That's kind of one of the parts I like about doing a live broadcast of the final match, is that the post-game interviews get actually interesting. You get to hear some of the finalists' thoughts, and now you're not just hearing my own. So, thanks to those who are watching. I'm going to sign off here real quick and see what I can do about this format coverage. Stay tuned for more.